5 o'clock. Time to begin our work session. Welcome, everyone. Gina?
To clarify, this is a monthly work session of the mayor and council. This is a meeting that is held each month to allow the members to discuss specific items in preparation for the regular council meeting, which is held the second Tuesday of each month. The dialogue of this meeting will be between the mayor, council, and staff members only. The time for citizen involvement will come at the regular meeting to be held next Tuesday night during the citizens' input portion of the meeting. We respectfully ask that you hold your comments or any questions until that time unless called upon. And once the meeting is adjourned, we ask that everyone exit the meeting room and the property in the timely manner. Item 1, review and discuss on beginning project of 3rd Avenue South drainage issue by St. John's Engineering.
Jim Patterson. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I was here back, I think in December, it was late last year, and discussed this project and a report that we had put together and cost estimate. I know that this has been through your budget process at this point, and so I have just recently submitted a proposal to the mayor, or an agreement to the mayor for the engineering portion of the project, and he and the city manager asked me to come back tonight and just kind of get this back in the forefront of your minds, and before we kick this off. So we have not modified anything at this point since I was here in December. The total cost estimate for the project, construction and engineering total, is $485,250. This is drainage improvements along 3rd Avenue South, and this is, where you've got failing infrastructure there that needs pretty desperately to be replaced and upgraded. I know Public Works still has plates over the road out there, over the hole in the road, and so it's pretty important that we get this going. We do have to deal with the railroad. We're going to have to go underneath the railroad. That's going to take some time, and we don't know exactly how much time, but we've got to get permits from them, and that's very likely a several-month process to get those permits. So I am happy to answer any questions that y'all may have at this time of me.
What's the next step? Are we at the point of bidding the project out, or?
No, the next step is going to be design. I mean, we had done a study back last year and put together some cost estimates. We had 3 options, if you'll remember, and gave you a recommended option with a cost estimate for that. But the project has not been designed at this point. So as soon as the city turns us loose to start design, we'll get the project actually designed. We'll go through the process of getting the necessary permit from the railroad, as part of that design. And then once the project is designed, and we'll also put together a bid package, and then we'll be to a point of bidding the project out. And, best case scenario at this point, you're looking at, sometime probably spring of next year before the project will actually be bid.
So you gave the mayor the design criteria or a budget or a?
Yes, and the budget is included in the cost estimate that we had given you back in last year. I just gave him an agreement to sign, for that amount.
Well, I believe I've already been authorized to sign that agreement.
That's what I thought.
Isn't that correct?
Yes.
But the project goes a little further than I first envisioned, but
And I did look back, Mayor, after our meeting last week to discuss this. I did look back, and in the study, we had, indicated there that it would go all the way up to Ellington Parkway, and I looked at those catch basins that you had.
You mean West Commerce?
I'm sorry. And I looked at those catch basins specifically, and we are looking at probably at least 9. I know we've got 11 in the cost estimate. Probably going to require at least 9, and could be as many as the 11.
They're also going to take care of the, what do you call it, where it's holding water with a loading dock next door to the here
Yes, and
place?
that's because
There'll be
of
a-
the same problem. The pipe that goes under the buildings there is, either collapsed or clogged or, I mean, it's not functioning at this point. So, during heavy rains, you're probably all aware that water ponds there, in that old loading dock area. So we will have to address that as part of this project as well.
So after the, I'm sorry, Mary.
Go ahead.
After the design is complete, do you think you'll be able to give us a more, or a current cost estimate? I mean, we don't know that number back from Christmas is still good.
Yeah, we will be able to fine tune the quantities, in the cost estimate at that point in time. We won't know if the unit prices are any good until we actually bid it out, because we're guessing as to what contractors are going to, price this at. And I have talked to a couple of contractors in putting together this cost estimate on items such as the boring under the railroad, those type things that are not everyday type items. And but I hate to say this, but your guess is as good as ours as to whether or not these costs are still going to be good by the time we bid it. And there's just too many factors that play into that. How hungry are the contractors at the time? Have prices been affected by other, market items or that kind of thing. So
Is tomorrow your regular day to be here?
it is.
We'll have the document signed for you, but, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any other
Any-
questions?
Thank you,
Okay.
Jim. We'll let you go home.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Item 2, presentation on hotel and motel tax. Jennifer Pearson, Director of Economic Development.
Afternoon, y'all. So this is, I will say this is not my dog and pony show, but we're going to talk about the advantages of a hotel motel tax for Lewisburg. And we have Ryan French here with us today, who is the Executive Director and CEO of the South Central Tennessee Tourism Association. Y'all have the presentation with your packet that he's going to present to you. I will say real quick, Ryan is also an alderman in Manchester, and they have a meeting at 6:30. So feel free to ask all the questions you want, but if we can get Ryan back to Manchester by 6:30, I'm sure he'd appreciate not missing any of his meeting.
Mr. French?
So what she means is I don't envy the position you guys are in, because I'm also in it. No, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to come and speak tonight. I briefly just wanted to go through this packet. I am with South Central Tennessee Tourism Association. Most of you know the development district. You work with them very closely. We were chartered the same exact way in 1973, and there's been a tourism association ever since then. But tonight I want to talk to you guys about lodging, what we call visitor tax, right? I want to be very clear about that. We would never come here and advocate for a taxation that's going to go on to the citizens on top of what their obligations already are. So what we're talking about tonight is a pass-through tax, very similar to a sales tax. So this isn't a tax that is paid by local residents. It's not a tax that's paid by the hoteliers or Airbnbs. It's actually collected, held onto, and then paid by the visitor themselves, okay? So I always start there. So if you hear me refer to it as a visitor tax, that's kind of why. That first page is just kind of explaining who we are. We are the South Central Tennessee Tourism Association, as I said. The second page there kind of explains what we do. So we do work very closely with the state of Tennessee. We also work with the Tennessee Tourism and Hospitality Association. There's a lot of overlap too. We work with ECD pretty closely, especially on things like 3-star grants, et cetera. But then we work with local governments, destination marketing organizations. We work directly with small businesses. We work with different industry partners. And then we work with media and some different forward-facing branding. Specifically on that third page, what we do with local government, we focus on economic development, obviously through the lens of tourism and hospitality. We provide industry guidance. We provide review and industry data, which there's a little bit of that in here. I'd love to come back at a different time and kind of dive into the economic impact report, specifically to Marshall County. They do them by county, but we can dive into some data specifically to the municipality here in Lewisburg. But we also provide policy assistance, which is, suppose, what I'm doing tonight. We lobby on behalf of local governments alongside TNHTA. And we also do grant administration and assistance. So that next page is the tourism industry impact. This is a little bit of a snapshot from the recent state economic impact report that came out. It gives you a little bit of information about spending here in Marshall County. So to Marshall County, tourism spending is about 25.9, almost $26 million in 2024. And that did rank 53rd in the state of Tennessee. I just want to direct your attention down to the bottom right quarter of that, where it's direct spending by industry, and it kind of breaks down the sectors that we measure. And so we measure food and beverage, lodging, amusement and recreation, retail, and transportation. And obviously, you see transportation with 26%. That's actually the second leading sector of the industry here, and of course, that's driven by the interstate mostly, and that's definitely for Marshall County. Food and beverage is the leading industry sector here, which is actually an encouraging thing, because a lot of times that's going to be your mom and pop restaurants that are absorbing those dollars from a visitation standpoint. Is there any questions to this point? I always want to stop on that economic impact piece and see if there's any questions. They do break this down. It's a very important number at the bottom. They do an analysis and they break it down and say, this is how much money your local taxpayer saves per household that's offset by visitors. And in Marshall County, it's $207 per year. So every household in Marshall County saves roughly $207 per year thanks to visitation spending. Those are taxes that are replaced in form of sales taxes that, of course, that you guys can use for infrastructure, schools, et cetera.
What's the percentage that it would be raised to?
If you don't mind, I'll get into that in the next 2 pages.
Okay.
So,
Sorry, I thought you were.
yeah, we're right there. I just wanted to see if there's any questions on the impact piece. So on this page here, and I apologize for not numbering these, it's my mistake. This is the county and municipal collections data for the region, the South Central region. And you'll notice Marshall County, there is a county occupancy tax. Last year, the county collected roughly $397,000 in taxation. Of course, the municipalities are zero. You guys, nor does Cornersville or Chapel Hill have a lodging tax. Now, why do you not have a lodging tax? I'll give you a brief history on that, because there's been a lot of changes in the laws of the last 4 or 5 years. Previously to 2021, you could not stack taxes. So it literally was whichever local government claimed the tax first was then forevermore able to tax lodging. So if the county were to claim it first, the city was not able to come back and actually stack a lodging tax on them. In 2021, that changed. However, there was some language put in that basically said if you generated a new tax after 2021, that all of it had to go to hotel motel, and you had to redirect hotel motel. So what that meant was city governments actually kind of doubled down. They didn't want to change the percentages, because then it all had to go to actually tourism marketing. So there's been new changes. In 2024 was a change that allowed you to actually create this stack. There is a limitation, though. It is only 8%. And unfortunately, by private act, Marshall County actually has a 7% lodging tax. So currently, there's only an opportunity for 1% right now in Lewisburg. Now, I say that, though, with really stressing this is a very, very much a moving target as far as legislatively is concerned. There's been a lot of changes literally in the last 2 years, let alone 5 years. 5 years ago, we allowed the stack. Now there's actually legislation. There's a new piece of legislation out directly for Airbnbs, short-term rentals, for example, that was passed a couple years ago. And then there's actually a provision now where counties can carve that funding out and fund tourism and not have to spend all of it on tourism. So there's a lot of changes in the legislation. The reason I'm bringing this to you now, there was an effort several years ago to do this and it failed, and it would have been a max of 3%, but now it's only 1%. So I'd love for you guys to get this on the books. There are some changes that I think could potentially increase that percentage, but if nothing else, it's currently would generate about a $15,000 opportunity per year. And I know it sounds like a ton of money, but there's a lot of grants out there that we can match with those dollars, and there is a lot of opportunity potentially to see that grow, especially with short-term rentals. And if another hotel, for example, you guys are certainly on the list of places we believe could have new hotels in the next 5 years. So my stress to you guys now is to get this passed as it is. I'll continue to come back and update you legislatively on kind of where we stand with things. But I do think there's an opportunity to see that, because that's one of the problems that we have across the state is we have some counties that already have 8%. And so if they have a municipality, they literally can't charge anything because of the way the law is written. So there's certainly some leveling out, and we're looking for that to become a bit more equitable as far as between municipalities and counties being able to charge it. I did also want to point out on that very next page, as far as being competitive is concerned, it's kind of the next level of thinking, but just to give you an idea, Murray County, Columbia sets at a combination of 10%. So you would still be 2% below Columbia. Giles County is currently at 5%, but there is a consideration right now within the city government to create a 3% tax there. So that would take them to 8%. And then Lincoln County, it goes between 5 and 10%, but Fayetteville city limits is actually 10%. So you would either be equal to or less than neighboring counties as far as the taxation levy is concerned. And I say next to, obviously I'm using the I-65 corridor here I mean, we could get into other counties, but I'm looking down I-65 where you guys would actually be competitive. And then the next slide is how does collections work? The great news, Airbnb and VRBO are already collecting the taxes. They collect taxation for the cities and counties, and they send it down to the county every month. So that's something that you guys don't have to worry about at all. They're going to continue to do that. Let me caution you though, it's only those two rental terminals. So if someone has a third-party rental terminal, they still have to go through the process of collecting taxes a more traditional way locally. So local rate is the city's responsibility to collect that. The way we typically do that is we send a letter to anybody who has either a short-term rental or a hotel. And in this case, we tell them you'd want to collect 1% on your lodging taxes and then submit that monthly.
Can I interject something?
Yes, sir, Mr. Burns.
Airbnb and Verbo, when they send it to the state, since we do not have one, Lewisburg, so we don't get anything.
You don't get anything currently,
So
no.
the state keeps that money, or they send it to
No,
the
so.
county?
Yeah, so the state only collects the local percentage, so whatever that local rate is, which is currently 7%. So if you rent an Airbnb, you pay 7%, and it would all go to the county at this point, correct?
And my last question, I think, is the 15,000 on the prior page, that's 1% of which figure? Is it the lodging direct spend
Yes.
number?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually, because that's actually a projection based on a baseline of 2025 numbers. So that's not it's not an equation based on the numbers you see in front of you. That's actually a number that we would project in 25-26 fiscal year is what the collections would be.
But it comes off the 6,270,600?
Well, it would be in addition to, it wouldn't come off of it, so.
Well, I mean, the 1% of that to get.
Correct,
to-
roughly,
Yeah, okay, got it.
roughly.
Thank you.
We're actually anticipating a little bit of an uptick here. We're actually ahead of pace for the year, and so it's a little. If you do the math on it, it's going to be a little bit. I grew up in Lynchburg. My math is not great, but I didn't work the formula. That's what I mean. We're projecting a little bit higher. So
So tell me again, the 1% will not apply to Airbnb and short-term rentals?
No, it would. It currently does not.
It would come under the 1% if we passed it.
Correct, yes, sir. And they would automatically collect that, and then they would distribute it. The state would distribute it.
And we're not collecting that, they're not collecting it now, or the
They're
county's just getting
collecting 7%. They're collecting 7% now, but it's a county rate exclusively.
And what is it in the works or projections or talked about in the future of allowing us to increase that? Repeat that again.
Yeah, I obviously want to be very cautious here because it is, we're walking through language right now. It's a fluid situation. Last year, and I don't want to, I'm not avoiding the question, but actually in May of this year, the legislature passed a ruling that capped it at 8%. And that was done with a general idea of it in totality needs to be 8%, right? There wasn't consideration as to what that would do to the stackability, as far as some municipalities are actually, with that law, are not able to pass a lodging tax now. So there's some discussion right now with TNHTA about legislation for this next year or the next year after to go back and revisit how we can create an equitable taxing situation, right? Because we have situations now where county governments are not necessarily in the tourism promotion business, but they're collecting a great deal of taxes. And we have some where it's the other way around. So that is very much a conversation that we're still having, where I do anticipate coming back to you guys within the next 2 years and saying, hey, there's a new plan in place, you can increase it to this. Or, the other part that made this complicated is that a lot of times the county rates were packaged in private acts. And so you actually had to repeal the private act to change this. And that really complicated things. So when we all set out on a mission to fix this 5 years ago, there's a lot of complications that came up, like the private act, for example, that maybe wasn't anticipated on the front end. And now it's limiting municipalities on the back end. But we are aware of that, and we're continuing to advocate to make that more fair for city versus county governments. And I again, in this situation, it's a county government, but in other situations where municipalities pass the tax first, we have the opposite. In fact, we do have a community where we have a city collecting 7%, but they don't have a tourism effort at all. We have a county that can now only collect 1%, and they actually have an organized tourism effort. It makes it difficult for them to fund that. So that's certainly something that's going to continue to be looked at. And the last couple pages there, I go back through and just kind of reiterate who pays the tax. It very much is a visitor tax. I really want to highlight that there is even provision within the law that says if you're a long-term renter, so we're talking about even if you have construction crews come to town, if they rent for more than 30 days at a time, they don't pay a lodging tax, okay? So it's, again, just to be clear, if anybody stays somewhere over 30 days, they would not be subjected to a lodging tax. It's just for visitation. And then second to last couple pages there, the references page, this actually references the new TCA code. So you guys are able to do this either according to whatever your local charter says. You can do it by ordinance or resolution now. This doesn't have to go, at one point it had to be a charter change and you had to send it up and bring it back and have it ratified. You no longer have to do that. You can actually pass this by resolution or ordinance now, according to state law.
Okay, questions?
Yeah, the one last one. So I said the total city and county now could go up to 8%, right?
Correct, yes, sir.
And who regulates that, the percent? Because you said Murray County could go up to 10.
Well, they're currently at 10. So that was established before the new cap was lowered to 8. The new cap was just put in place over the last year.
So is that a state rule? that
Yes,
can't
sir,
go-
it's state law.
Okay, what would keep the county from coming in and raising it to 8 before we got to
Yeah, so,
raising it to
great question. So,
our 1%?
yeah, so in the new law, we actually capped counties initially at 5%, so they can only go to 5% now. So that, if any changes that they make, they could go down, they certainly can't go up anymore.
Further questions?
Yes, you call this a visitor's tax?
Yes, ma'am.
But it looks like it's only on occupancy. But in the first couple of slides, or, let's see, let's go to page 4, your direct visitor spending by industry, the largest one, or I guess, I can't see the colors well, is food. So, but we're only talking about the 1% being for lodging, correct?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you can only, so in the state of Tennessee, you can't create, there are other states that have like visitor taxes on restaurants and things like that. In Tennessee, we're not allowed to do that. So it's just on lodging and occupancy, correct?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So it would require an ordinance by this body.
Correct, yes, sir.
So can we get something on Tuesday's agenda for the first reading? Mr.
Mayor,
Yes.
Ron has a sample resolution that I have that I could certainly give to, you want me to stand up?
Yeah, I hear you.
I was trying to talk loud enough, sorry. Ryan has given me a sample resolution that they've used other places that I can forward to Mr. Hutto tonight or in the morning. I wouldn't think it would probably require a lot of work, I hope, on his part. So my answer is maybe,
Well, we said ordinance. It has to be an
or
ordinance.
resolution. Or.
Oh,
Ordinance or resolution.
so it would take one time to pass it.
Sure.
Mayor, I think we did do like we did last time, that if Jennifer could contact the local hotel motels to see how they feel about it, I think it's only fair to get their input on it.
Now, I will. What is your perspective on what to ask them? Because they're not paying it. So I'd like to hear, I'd like to ask them what you want me to ask them.
Well, would they be for it? Would they be against it?
Okay,
Why, either way?
okay,
And then show them this little slide about what it could produce for the
okay.
area.
I assume, am I wrong in thinking that they're already doing this, Ryan? Because they're doing it
For the county.
for the county, so they already know what, they already know what it is. I'll do it, of
I mean,
course.
last time that I was here, I don't know if I was here, but I was in the audience. They came forward and spoke, and they were not in favor of it at that time.
It was a misunderstanding at that time.
Can you clear up the misunderstanding?
We can clear up the misunderstanding. I think it was with somebody who had owned a motel previously, but doesn't anymore. But yes, sir, I'll clear up the misunderstanding.
So they're used to collecting and they're used to generating the information and they give the state the money and then the state turns around and gives it to county, or they give it straight to the county?
Yeah, so they'll give it directly. So it'll
Okay.
be, yeah.
So they would collect 1% for the city and give that directly to the city?
Correct, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But there are programs in their
Sure.
billing system
Oh,
collects that?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and to speak to Mr. Burns' point, I will come to any of these subsequent meetings needed to kind of have that conversation with them too. Sometimes we have resistance from hoteliers, sometimes we don't. A lot of it is an educational piece, because the reassurance on this is, these dollars, by state law, they do have to be used on reinvestment back into tourism marketing of some sort. And so long as they understand that we're taking these dollars and reinvesting into something that's going to generate more business for them, they tend to have a better understanding of it. So,
Did Jennifer sufficiently answer your question?
yeah,
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Counsel.
Yes.
Mayor, I wanted to speak to that too. We've left it being a resolution ordinance up to the municipalities as far as however they're comfortable. We've had them pass it with resolution, but I've also had them pass it with ordinance. So I just wanted to be clear on that. Like, we give that to you. I know the state provision says you can do it either way, but
Okay, so having said that, are we as a group interested in having it as a resolution for Tuesday?
Or do we want to wait till October for her to get back with us?
I don't know. What do you
I would
think?
want to wait to hear back from the hotel and motel answers myself on this one.
Pardon me?
Do we want to educate them about what the money is gonna do, or you just want cold call
I think you call them, you get an appointment when they're free. And unlike any sales presentation,
them? Because he said he would come back and
Yeah, well,
present to all of them.
they can go in team. I mean, that'd be even better.
Yeah.
If they both want to go, that's perfect.
be happy to.
They can give a plan and let them know what other communities are doing with their monies, how it's funded, or other communities doing a marketing program to increase tourism, room nights, room stays. 180 days to start construction and had to be up and going within 2 years. Now again, they paid us $300,000 for it, and the land's just sitting there. Are we interested in buying that back, or no, or, I mean, it doesn't have to be determined tonight, but I think they are past due on that. aren't they?
It was August 2023, according to this
Yeah.
contract.
I mean, if we keep letting people do this, I mean, we're almost out of land now, and keep letting people buy it and not putting buildings on it, then
This one specifically says that if they don't do anything, I'm on page 3,
no.
that the seller, or in this case, it was the city, buys it back for $300,000.
Yeah. And we
As
were, you and I
Yeah,
were here, so
as
we made
opposed
sure.
to Project Paint, that doesn't have that.
Yeah, but we're on this one now, so,
Mr. Young has been in contact with Chris and myself. We talked to him November last year, and then again, he's been in contact recently. He had this piece of property here, and they bought a site in Alabama. They were going to see what process they used in Alabama. He wanted to get it going first to see if he was going to change his scope of work down here, because what they were proposed to do did not fall directly in one of our permitted use charts. And he was thinking that if we take part of what we're gonna do here, do in Alabama, we think it'll fit in our permitted use chart. So he was rewriting his scope of work, and Chris has been in contact with him the last couple of weeks, I think. If you want to come up, Chris.
Be happy to. Yeah, last Thursday, Lincoln Young, he did reach back out, and he said he would like to meet with us this month, and we're working out the details there. And he expressed still interest in developing the land and bringing jobs to the city of Lewisburg.
Well, there was only 2 people, right? Do you recall how
oh, I
many?
don't recall that.
Yeah, it was gonna be a supervisor.
But they were also supposed to do some branding, some chipping for us too, saving us $50,000 a year or so. That didn't work out.
I think we
very good.
scrapped that because they couldn't do it with
It was
the,
gonna cost us more for them to chip than what our company that we're with now
Right, I
cost
recall
us.
that.
yeah.
Well, we were very deliberate, the council was there, Vicky was there at the time too, about what we wanted to make sure they didn't do, such as the tires and
So it just depends on if this council decides to extend him a 90 days to get with Chris, or call his bluff and give him written notice, as is in this chapter, this number 1,
How much did they pay for it?
300.
You said it was in 21, what month?
No, it was 2 years
I'm sorry, it's 2 years, yeah.
I mean, 23.
August of '23.
Yeah,
Okay. So the year, the 2 years are up.
it's our, August in 2025, so.
but they were supposed to start work in 180 days.
So, we can decide to give him 90 more, 180 days more, or give him written notice with the intent to purchase property back.
If you recall, that was one of the roughest pieces of land out there. The accessibility was bad. It wasn't suitable for most industrial purposes except something like this. So if we bought it back, it'd be a hard sale.
Hard to resell.
Yep, I would think so. Do you recall that, Bam?
Yes, it's the worst thing we got out there except for the mountain, but, that's why he bought it. He didn't need prime
I'm
real
aware of
estate.
what's under its problem.
Yeah, he didn't need prime real estate to do what he was doing, so.
But at some point, where it's good land or bad land, our goal is to create jobs and build a building and create taxes. So we either gotta slow down the economic development and figure out what we're gonna do, or not develop any more property until we get the problem figured out. So whatever y'all wanna do, for the new people, I just want to bring it to y'all's attention and give a little history about it.
Do we want to decide to give him an extension and have that on Tuesday?
Well, this contract was executed in August. The sale didn't actually close till December of '23. So I
Okay.
think at
So
least
we have
the
till
time
December.
period probably started then from the closing date. So
Okay.
So Chris, you're gonna be meeting with this fellow?
Correct. We're still working out the details of when we're gonna meet, what schedule works out for everyone. So we're gonna possibly meet and discuss it and how to move forward with the project, get the zoning correct. Most likely, we're gonna change our use chart because he's a highly specialized industry. It's not really recycling, it's more highly specialized. But currently, he would fall under recycling. We're gonna work those details out.
So you'd be able to come back to us after that meeting, kind of give
Yes.
us an idea
Correct.
on whether he's serious?
Yes,
further
we would,
development.
basically, our plan is to go for the planning commission with the changes to the use chart, and they would do a recommendation to city council, and you guys would vote on the matter.
Okay, and we have till December, right, Mr. Hutto?
yes, because the contract says it's 180 days or 2 years from the closing
Closing
date.
date.
So,
Okay.
the 180 days certainly has gone by that they haven't started construction, but they're still within their 2-year period to get commenced operations.
So who's gonna follow up? Because I've been the one having to bring us back up. Anybody on staff gonna follow up?
We've been following up with it, we just hadn't had anything definite to tell you. That's why Chris
I
has been
wouldn't
meeting
keep, I
with
wouldn't keep having to bring it up if somebody was
you.
following
You could
up.
come to myself or Chris and just ask.
Any other questions? So this is just for information purposes tonight.
Yes, sir.
Next item.
Item 4, consider Lewisburg Electric System, is that Mestdale, resolution which determines the amount of the payment in lieu of taxes for fiscal year beginning on July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. It requires a resolution, and Councilman Burns.
Let me get you my page here.
Say item 4.
You wanna just use this?
I'm not squeaking.
All right, the Lewisburg electric system, instead of paying a specific amount of tax, pays in lieu of tax or a pilot program. It is through the Municipal Electric System Tax Equivalent Law of 1987. And you have a resolution there. You have a tax equivalent calculation of how it's calculated. You've got the amount of what the taxes will be, and coming to the city is going to be $483,000 $964.79. And going to Marshall County, $145.05. And that's paid by about a month of, I believe, about 40,000. Yeah, starting in July, the city gets 40,330.39 a month, and county 11,708. For a total of the electric system for the city of Tennessee, 624,470.70, with the city getting 483,964.79.
Questions? On the agenda for Tuesday without objection? Everybody good with that? Next.
Item 5, consider request by Edith Watkins naming Holly Grove Road Bridge after late husband Thomas Mike Watkins. Requires the resolution, and it's up to the council. I did put in in our municipal codes how we dedicate streets, roads, and bridges. Her spouse that has passed away it's not been 5 years. So, but we have to bring it up in front of the council. So it's just something for y'all to look over. Mike Kinney wrote a letter, and I included that on the packet.
Pam, do you have any comments?
I mean, it's got specific criteria that they have to meet to get it done. That's what we've always followed, so.
And I agree with that. If we're gonna have this requirement letter or whatever this procedure is, then we need to stick to it. When we start making exceptions, then we need to get rid of this.
Yeah, where did this come from? Where is this from?
It's in the municipal code.
It's from the, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to know.
Yes.
How
And,
long since the man been gone?
I think it's been a little over a year,
Oh,
year and a
I see.
half. But we still have to bring it up in front of y'all.
Understand.
But it's not just,
They're saying January.
somewhere I read on there.
it's not just age, it's also you have to have
It's
some
more
kind of.
criteria, it's more criteria
Right,
on
but
there, but
that's the very
that's
first
the,
one.
that's
Yeah.
the first thing. and-
So right there, it tells you no, and then,
Well, what was happening, the county was naming bridges even inside the city without consulting us. And we don't think that's right. For instance, on Finland Beach Road, that bridge, the center of the bridge is the city limits. But they've named that, the county named the bridge, and it didn't say one word to us.
And,
I don't believe that was right.
no,
I think they ought to have a policy like ours, because some of these people, other than Freddie Johnson was inside the city, he met all the criteria. But some of the others, it's just, if somebody in your district dies, and what are the other commissioners gonna do? They're gonna be sympathetic, and so you've got, that's the only criteria.
yes.
So,
and I've used this before. I've had someone from my ward actually discuss with me about naming a bridge, and I was able to pull this out and give them the requirements. So it's a useful document, because I think we need to follow it.
And that's what we've always done. If somebody comes and wants to make a request, we tell them what the criteria is, we give it to them, and we still present it and listen to it anyway, out of respect. But it's there for a specific reason. We've always done it. I'd be scared to deviate, because if we miss one,
So does he know about the criteria?
yes.
Yes, we gave her.
Yeah, we can give them the criteria and give them the option. You can still present if you want to.
but it still needs to be on the agenda for Tuesday, correct?
To vote, I
To vote.
would say approve or deny. All right.
Mr. Hutto?
Well, I mean, the guideline clearly says that if it's determined that the nomination fails to meet the established criteria, it will be returned with a cover letter detailing the deficiencies. And I think not having been deceased for 5 years is certainly one bar, and I mean, it sounds like the contributions to Lewisburg are certainly there in his work and daily life.
So just write a letter, and it not be on the next Tuesday, correct? Is that what you're saying?
I would think so, unless unless, like Mr. Hazlett said, still listen and hear, but the consideration, it just says that,
A letter saying it doesn't meet the requirements.
doesn't meet the requirements.
That'd be it.
Yeah.
And with a copy of the requirements with it, with the letter.
That sounds reasonable.
And Shannon just pointed out, it says you must meet at least one criteria. But A, B, or C, if you read the three of them, I don't think this gentleman met any of those three.
Okay, does that dispense with that? You good with that, Bambi? Okay, next.
Okay, we are going to skip number 6 and go back, but first we're going to go to item 9 because these go hand in hand. Item 9, consider approval of an increase in capital note funds to cover costs associated with installment of traffic signal loop detectors at 2nd Avenue and College Street by Budget Committee. Favorable recommendation not to exceed $15,000. And this is a roll call vote. And Debbie or Alan? Okay.
I asked her to bring this up before number 6, because a couple of reasons. One of those is that I was at this budget committee, and I thought the recommendation was to bring it to the city council, not approval of this.
Oh.
And so there's that misunderstanding there.
I was there too, and I'm not on the board, but I didn't recall that.
We didn't approve to do the 15, we approved to bring it to the city council, was my understanding. And so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a recommendation that was discussed at the Budget Committee meeting, correct? And my recollection was that it was voted on to take it to the council.
The
which-
council.
Yeah, so
Not necessarily
Not
that we
necessarily.
agreed to it, but
Right.
that to take it to council.
to take it to council, yes.
Right, that's
That's
what I
right.
understood. So I asked her to do it first.
Mhm.
Because the more I thought about this, and Alan and I kind of worked a little bit off to the side, if we add that 15,000 to this note, just the finance fee alone every year is not desirable at all. The other option that was talked about was moving that stoplight to a flashing yellow on 2nd and putting stop signs on College Street at both where they intersect with it. That would be free to the city.
Flashing red on
Oh.
this, as well as a stop sign. Flashing red.
Oh,
the
flashing
light-
red, yeah, because you have the lights there, I'm sorry. Flashing reds on the light on College, flashing yellow on 2nd, and stop signs on College, which would be free to the city and would solve this problem. And so that's what I would recommend. And the reason why I asked to be moved up, because if you look at number 6, the 15,000 has been added to number 6.
I noticed that.
And so,
Yeah,
I wanted to
don't,
get number 9
yeah,
talked about before we moved to 6.
yeah.
Does that make? does
That
that
makes
cover
perfect
it?
sense, yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, and Mayor, I talked to Brad's electric system. In a day or two, he's gonna have me some information I'll share with y'all. Actually, how many people, how long they're waiting at the red light, evidently electric system can furnish that information.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of traffic study. Yeah, those gentlemen that did the practice study.
But I'm okay with that solution. It saves $15,000.
It saves $15,000.
It saves more than $15,000.
So I don't think we ought to borrow money for loot.
No, I did not understand that to be what happened at the budget committee, so.
Okay. And that's an easy, that's just The only thing in the resolution is just to change from the 165 to the 1550. That's
Right.
easy, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I actually had two versions. That the 1550 was the original, but after informing our consultant, Mr. Warner, the discussion at the Budget Committee, he said, well, I can just change it. And so he sent me another copy, and that's what was included,
So
but
you have a
absolutely.
copy of both. so
Yeah,
you
it-
could use
Yeah,
either
it can
one.
either, yeah, everything
Okay.
else is the same.
So,
Yeah.
I guess keep number 9, I'm sorry, yes, keep number 9 on the agenda. We could vote that no, and recommend the yellow flashing and the red flashing and the stop signs. And then you could bring both notes
Mhm.
on the 6th, and we can vote for the 15,565 or the 15,
Mhm.
or the 1550. What do y'all?
Yeah, I mean, that's purely up to you. If you want to just change it and just bring the 1550, if that's what you all
Back to the original
desire.
proposal.
Back to the
Yeah,
original,
back to the
yeah.
original, without
Right,
that
without the additional
15,000.
15.
I concur with that.
What
What about the rest of you?
Yeah,
I
and
think
then,
it's been taken out completely.
yeah,
Yes.
number 9 could just go away. I mean, we would just solve the problem. We wouldn't really need to vote on it, would we?
I don't know, do
I
we
mean,
need to
I
vote
think
on
so.
that if we change a traffic pattern? Well, it doesn't change the traffic pattern, because, but, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Do we
think you
vote on
need to
that?
have a resolution
Council approval.
to approve that.
I would think so too. I mean,
Mr.
I don't
Hutto,
know.
what do you
Do we need
think?
council approval for that?
To change the,
The red light to a
Red light.
flashing yellow and flashing red?
yeah, there would need to be some sort of resolution
I
just to
would think,
document
okay.
it and, make sure Public Works and the fire department's in favor of it. I mean, and like you said, a
Well,
traffic study
LES
might
would
be
take, LES takes
useful.
care of that.
But yeah, that would just be a different, item rather than this one. It's not, I mean, it's about the same streets, but it's not talking about a $15,000.
You're right, so number
spending
9 would
expenditure.
go away.
Yeah, we could say no, and then you could add this to other business of the red lights.
Okay, we could do that.
Do
Would that
that.
work? Could we do a resolution in other business?
Generally, no. I mean, it needs to be something on the agenda, just because it's, here in not, in this form, the actual resolution, you could either bring it up and if you want to discuss it more fully, discuss it. I mean, in the work session next month, you can start discussing it right now, that you'd rather have it be the stoplight changes and the sign changes rather than spending money, and I think that's what's going on. And so you could just be a reworded and different agenda item.
Okay, so we can put it on the agenda without it specifically being on the work session?
Well, we're discussing it under the work session.
Right.
So
Okay, all right.
what you're saying is a resolution would be
You
appropriate for
just
Tuesday, is what
modify
I'm
it.
hearing.
You modify
Am I
what we
correct?
discussed
That's what I'm hearing.
to save money.
Yeah, just get rid of number 9 and put number 9 be the stop signs and the light changes. I can send you an email if you need documentation
Please,
on that.
please.
The way I understand it is, the councilman, even though we don't discuss it in work session, the councilman can still put something on the agenda.
We just never have.
Yeah, but we can.
Okay, we can. So I'll send you an email,
Okay.
so you'll have that documentation.
Okay, so let's officially go back to item 6, where we can state it, consider a capital note authorizing a resolution prepared by the city financial consultant, Mr. John Warner of Cumberland Securities. And that one's going to be modified back to the.
Yes, the resolution will be modified to the original proposal, 1,550,000.
If everybody's in concurrence with that, I think they
Yes.
are, I think.
Is everybody?
We're taking the 15 now?
Yes.
Yes.
I still don't know about borrowing money, but that's not the issue. 59.
But that, you'll have that, is that a resolution or a ordinance?
That's a resolution, sir?
Okay,
Yeah,
for Tuesday.
for Tuesday, yeah.
Further questions? Next item.
Item 7, discuss forming a committee to perform needs assessment for new police station. Councilman Thomas.
in the budget process, we allocated money for a study to decide whether, what our requirements would be for a new police station. And I thought it might be appropriate if we had a committee to work with whoever we bring in and perform the needs assessment on what we think would be appropriate if we chose to do a new police station.
Comments?
I agree with that, Mayor. I guess by accident, I met with the architect engineer that's doing the 911 call center. I've known him quite a while, and he said something about the present police station that you could, I was just talking to him about any ideas of future use of the building and what we could do with it in the future. And he said buildings like that have been able to put a roof on the roof before, where it's a flat roof, you kind of put another one on it and build it up and have it drain better. So that's something we
Put a regular roof on it.
Right.
Well, not necessarily a standing seam, but some kind of elevated where it will flow, put a roof on the roof. That's worked at other places, and if we could salvage the building or extend the new police station sometime, I think we could at least, we could bring that up. I agree with the committee, just bring it up, see if there's, what alternatives are out there.
Well, I think that would have saved McCord School from being torn down if they'd have put a pitched roof on it. That, to me, that was a simple solution.
I was thinking about this committee and the needs of the city. Of course, we can't project what the needs of the city are, but I'm more for getting, piggybacking off your idea and just having a building or a project building committee. Because if we choose to build a police station, that's a 2 to 3 year project, and at the end of 3 years, we may be choosing to build another building of fire or a new city hall. And having that committee just be 4 or 5 basic, finance, those type of people, and then having the rest of the members be fluid, come and go as we need it. We're gonna need a tech person, but he's not gonna be there all the time. We're gonna need an interior decorator, but they don't need to be there all the time.
Right.
And so bring these people in and out, and then if we don't have a building
More like
project,
a
we just don't meet.
More like a project team.
Yes, that's what I was
Yep.
thinking more often.
Yep.
Less specific to the police department, but more specific to additional buildings that we may have in the future.
So what,
Well, like a fire station.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We
Same
don't
difference,
know in
yeah.
3 years what building
That's
we're
right.
gonna need.
what
So
would you call that?
you can call it
City
a
building.
Building project? committee?
Building project committee?
Yeah, and just have a permanent committee, and if they don't have anything going on at the time, they just don't meet. So they meet as needed, and they bring in it'd be a fluid, open door type of thing. Like we need to see the electricians this time we need, or something like that.
Yeah, at least any council member that want to be on that committee, plus, well, maybe the mayor too and everybody, but, maybe the fire, maybe the police, depending on what you, like you're
While we're
saying.
building, so we can establish this committee, a fairly permanent committee, and just have it be out there for future projects. And discuss future projects and bring them to the budget, bring them during budgeting
Right.
time. Not just, things that we've already approved, but something that we may need that they see.
That might be 5 years down the road even.
That may be 5 years down the road, something to start thinking about. So I just piggybacked off your idea.
What about adding to that, it doesn't matter to me, about if we've got any surplus property or something that, we may want to sell or get rid of that's no longer useful.
It'd come under the budget committee, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
that would be more budget, I would think, so. Because this would be, I don't know, project building specific.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So,
Both y'all got good ideas, so.
without objection, we'll have a resolution creating a new committee called the what?
The city building
or
board or city building committee.
Yeah,
project building.
that's simple enough.
Yeah,
Committee,
Who would appoint those committee members?
The mayor
the
would.
mayor
The mayor.
appoints, yeah.
y'all want it,
Do we need a number, or how many need to be on the committee?
I would, most 5 is,
Yeah, I was gonna say the basic would just be
Five
finance.
basic, and then call in people as they're needed.
I think in this case, the first one, the police chief,
Well,
needs to
yeah.
be a part of it, and I think 2 council members need to be on
And
it.
finance would need to be there,
And,
Yeah.
and possibly
You might well,
codes.
and
think
probably,
we need
you
more
probably
than
need to get the,
council
probably need to
over
get the fire chief too. If it's a building that could be a fire department or police
Oh, but-
department, you see what?
Yeah, I was thinking bringing them in, depends on the project.
yeah,
I think you need to remember, like we've done before, any council member that chooses to be on it, somebody may not want to be on it.
Well, you wanna keep this committee pretty small,
Well, no, say, if Shannon can't come, then
yeah.
he may not want
Man,
to.
why you gotta put me on blast for, man?
Hey,
How you know I can't
Y'all-
come, man? I
y'all-
be at the meetings, man.
I know you will. I know you will.
Yeah, it should go under our committee regulations though, about the mayor choosing. And I agree with the 4 or 5, because you make it too big, especially.
It'll get too bogged down in.
5 is the best
It'll
number.
get
in my
nowhere.
opinion.
We'll,
I think 5 is
we'll
good.
meet and accomplish nothing.
Yeah.
So,
So have as a resolution for Tuesday.
City Building Committee, right?
Yes.
Is that City Building
work,
Committee?
Linda?
Does that
I
work?
think it does.
Yeah, that works.
I mean,
It's
it's what it's
not
intended to
specific.
be.
That's
We're
exactly
gonna
right.
work with buildings.
Yes.
Well, it's only going to continue through the years. I
Right.
mean,
Well, we hope.
yep.
Okay.
Next item.
Item 8, review and discuss social media policy rules for city employees. Councilman Thomas.
There was well, first of all, not long ago, this body passed a resolution that stated specific rules for council people and how they are to post on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Social media.
In that if a person posts under their own name, they must specify that they are in fact not posting, they're posting their own opinion, so it's not confused with that of the city. Anyway, there was a post I saw recently that I thought was pretty inappropriate. And come to find out, in our employee manual, there is only verbiage about social media posting on a city site. There is nothing that talks about a city employee that uses their own name to just post. And I wondered if there was any interest in us making some rules similar to what we set for council members in regard to social media.
I'm trying to think how to separate that between me just posting, a picture of me playing golf.
Well, as long as you
I
had
wouldn't-
clothes
I
on and you
don't
weren't
wanna have
naked
to-
or anything, and it wasn't inappropriate, it really
I
wouldn't be an
wouldn't-
issue, and
yeah,
people
I
would
know,
probably
but-
enjoy it.
But who determines appropriateness and inappropriate? I mean, it's gotta be pretty firm, so every time I post on social media, which I don't, by the way, but if I did, would I have to say I'm not, this is my opinion and not a comment? I'm not representing the city when I make this comment?
Don't know.
That's what I'm trying to decide.
I'm throwing it out there for discussion.
In the meeting.
Uh,
Did you hear me?
Do we want city employees
I thought I had it turned off.
posting things that may be deemed as inappropriate by citizens? So I'm asking.
Mr. Hutto, I think we touched on that and a little bit with when it's deemed.
So our, Mr. Thomas is right, all our policy talks about is that city employees posting on city social media sites have to, adhere to a certain code of conduct and represent the city when they're posting on a city site, representing the city. What they do, on their own time, if the city getting into that gets into regulating somebody's freedom of speech.
Yep.
Whether they're an employee or not. Now, someone posts something offensive, it's, clearly beyond the realm of whatever decency or support some, hideous program, one side or the other, political stance, something. People certainly have lost their jobs in private companies and in government positions for, those things. But it's a very delicate area to get into, and we're talking about telling someone what they can or can't say, or punishing them for what they have said. As a municipality, there's a lot more leeway when a private company does it, because they're not bound by the First Amendment. But when a city or state or county fires someone for something they've said, that's, potentially problematic, unless, of course, unless it's like campaigning, because there's that, I guess there's Hatch Act violations where you can't campaign on public time, which happens, but that's not the issue here. Is just someone's. So I don't think having a policy where it says the city employees can or can't say something on their own accounts, just because they're city employees, is probably not a good idea as a policy.
Okay, so you feel this policy is?
Is fair and requires them to, be professional on city sites. And, I think if, it could probably go so far as, if they were commenting personally on a Facebook post on a city page, for, and they said something inappropriate on a city post on the city's social media, it might also apply there. But, when we're talking about someone not being at work in their own private social media.
Well, how do you know if they're at work or not?
Well, I don't know. I guess you can ask them.
Well, at the time is on the post, isn't it?
Yes.
What
So
time
that
was
would be easily determined.
And in this case, it was during an 8 to 5.
Well, not necessarily,
Workday.
because now you start splitting hairs. Did somebody have a half a day of vacation? Did somebody come in late? Did somebody have
Or
a
they
doctor's
had lunch.
appointment?
Somebody
Are they
just
on
off
break?
that
Are
day.
they at lunch? Or
Because we had that
it
situation,
starts
somebody posted a
splitting
lunch
it into
lot.
fine pieces.
And then, the person whose job that is to, I guess, moderate that and double check on that, it would be the city managers, because, if the council talking about doing it, that's getting into the individual management of how the city runs, not the broad policy management, which is where there's a point somewhere that the council stops and the city manager administration starts.
But if there's no verbiage whatsoever or no guidance, that even if you did want to counsel someone for perhaps using what could be deemed as inappropriate language, you'd have no basis to do so.
Probably not, but if you'd like to propose a change to the social media policy, then the council can vote on that and discuss whether or not it's appropriate for things in the future, once there's a change to the policy, if it is changed. You may propose something and everyone may say, well, that really gets into someone's freedom of speech, and even if they're saying something I don't like, they still have the right to say it.
And it does, and it is a slippery slope. I thought it was a slippery slope when we did it for the council members. But you also hope that people use good judgment and they don't say things that could be reflected poorly on the city. So I brought it up to see if there was any interest.
I tell you, if it was up to me, if I had the power to do it, there wouldn't be any Facebook. There wouldn't be any Instagram. I don't post. I don't worry about that. That's the worst thing that ever happened. My wife was on that Facebook 6 hours a day, I think. All right, any further on that?
Apparently not.
Okay, item 10, discuss of stop signs on 3rd Avenue and North, 3rd Avenue North. Roll call vote, and Councilman Michael.
Okay, I'm trying to find this out of nine, okay. If you'll look at this map,
This one?
this one with the stop signs on it.
Okay.
You know, as you can tell by the work session, I'm all into this traffic stuff, the traffic flow. But anyway, if you look at this from West Commerce, you've got, well, 2nd, and you got 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 3rd is what I'm proposing. You can see the number of stop signs on 3rd Avenue. So I drove 4th today, and so if we'll go to 4th Avenue real quick, there is a stop sign at East Church on 4th. Not presented here, but I'm just showing you there is. There's not one on Water Street. There is one on Haynes. And then, of course, there is one down at the end where it intersects with, I call it Franklin Road. I'm proposing to get rid of the one on Water Street. The one on Haynes is about halfway between the two, between West Commerce and, right, I guess that's Hardison School there. Part of that's College Street, part of it's Franklin Road. So that is a good place to slow people down. But eliminating that one on Water Street, where there's not one on Water Street anywhere else. So going down 3rd, get rid of that stop sign on 3rd, keep them on Water, where they're entering 3rd, but get rid of them on 3rd and help that traffic flow on that road. Now, we have to remember, for a lot of people, 5th Avenue's a cut through, and 5th has no stop signs on it. It's got the one at Church, and it's got the one on the end. There is no stop signs there. There are none, none is none. But, so anyway, I'm proposing eliminating the 3rd Avenue stop signs at Water. Not off the Water, but the two on 3rd.
I'm not seeing Water, is that?
Water is,
Where the water department is.
yeah, that's that road between Haynes and Church, yes.
Across from the old church. The old church is.
It's not named on this graph, but
About
it
right
is
there,
Water Street.
Russell's, where Russell's used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
water.
yeah.
Now, is that four-way stop now also?
It's a
Yes.
four-way
It's a
stop,
four.
It's what?
four-way stop.
Four-way stop?
Mhm.
You talking about eliminating 2 stop signs or 4?
Two.
Only the ones on 3rd, not the ones on Water. Help that traffic flow on that road.
So you're talking about eliminating two
Stop sign.
stop sign at one location.
At one location, yes, sir.
Okay, further discussion? Okay. Everybody good with that? You on the agenda? Next.
Item 11, discuss of speed limit leaving town on Mooresville Highway. Councilman Michael.
Okay, that is, you also have a picture of that intersection. And right there, if you look at Freeman and West Ellington, that intersection right there is where the stoplight will be installed. I think June 1 is the date for completion, if I remember correctly. That stops, that
Correct.
red light. So let's leave town, go toward West Commerce. Currently, the speed limit leaving town is 30. 45, 55, you can see it. Now, I was not on city council when this was approved. I was sitting in the audience. The reason why the city council changed it is so both sides of the street had the same speed limit. But prior to them changing it, they had separate speed limits. A speed limit going into town and a speed limit leaving town. I would propose that 30 mile an hour speed limit sign there turn to a 45, leaving town, and that 45 become a 55. The way it was prior to the council changing it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to come off a two-lane road doing, which is West Ellington, 45 mile an hour.
30.
and then turning on to a 5-lane highway and reducing to 30 miles an hour.
Yeah,
That-
Ellington's 45, yes. Now, not going in. We're gonna have a red light there. We gotta slow that traffic down going in, especially on that hill where, are those Ellington apartments right there? But leaving town,
Ridgetop.
Ridgetop, thank you. I don't know what they are. So, but leaving town, that's what I would propose, to go back the way it was prior.
I just get some complaints coming in. Do we need to slow them down?
Oh, I think we do when they
That
hit that
quickly?
hill, that for sure, when they hit
Yeah,
the
I'm talking
top
about
of
when
that
they
hill.
hit, slow them down when they hit the hill, about right there at the water tank instead of
Right.
way down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of complaints about this, because I end at Freeman, is where I end, so everybody thinks that whole thing is me, my ward, and they got a right to, they think that. Part of that Shannon's really right in there, but because I end at Freeman, I get lots of calls about that 30 miles leaving town.
I have to.
Coming into town, just piggyback on what you're saying, is 30 way out here.
Yeah, where is the 30 you're talking about? Isn't it far beyond?
It's at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
We're real
it's-
far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty far out.
Could we slow them, where that 45 is on going out, could we slow them down to 45 right there?
By the time you get to the hill,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then they're gonna hit the red light, and there's gonna be warning signs, so they won't have
yeah,
to slow down.
right.
And I think the next 30 is down, I think it's all the way down by the shopping center.
Yeah,
You
it
know
should be
where-
across from that Mexican restaurant where the next 30 is. It sits right there somewhere.
Yeah.
By the shopping center, like you're saying.
So could we keep it 45 coming in to about the water tank?
Is that a picture of the water tank
Is
right
that
there
the
at
blue?
Allen
Yeah,
Street?
yeah.
Yeah.
Blue.
Well, it's a 30 before you get to the water tank,
Oh,
though.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, but that's what he's suggesting is to change it.
Change it.
Take that one to
I
40.
would say before, like, where the 40, where the 30 is right now, I think that one should be left like that, considering the traffic coming out of the apartments and stuff. But let me correct that, put it to 45 right there before they get there.
Yes.
Is that
To the
what?
ridge
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. yeah.
Okay, you
Before
talking
you
about the
get to
gas
Ridge
tank,
Top.
the stop sign, whatever.
Yeah,
It's,
what I'm
it's,
talking
yes,
about.
it's before you get to the water tank though, the 45
30
is.
starts way down here.
Right.
Below the park.
Right.
It does.
Because on the Ellington Parkway, at Ellington House, isn't that 45 out that way? You know, Brian?
Yeah.
I think it's 45.
By
Yeah.
Clovers, is that 45?
Oh, Ellington
Oh,
Parkway's
yeah,
45.
It's all the way
It's
through
all
45, yeah.
Down Ellington, yes.
We may be saying the same thing. Change it from 55 to,
No. Change it
No.
from 30
The
to
30 to
45.
45.
yeah, yeah.
And change, at 2 locations, one coming out of town, one coming into town. Is that,
I don't
Correct.
remember now. Y'all got me confused. on that.
you got a 30-mile-an-hour before you get to Ridgetop coming into
So up that to
town.
45, right?
At 45,
And then
then,
the next one to 55.
no. Yeah.
He's talking about going in.
No,
You
that's
coming
coming
in?
in. The
Okay.
next
Coming
one be
in,
30.
Coming in.
When you come over the hill, it's 30
Right.
coming into town. But going out of town, change that 30 to a
To a 45.
45.
And then the 45 to a 55.
Okay.
So coming into town, Mayor, say that again. Change the 30 that's out there, it goes from 55.
You know where
To
Stephanie
45.
Meredith
Yeah.
lived? You know,
Where she used to live, yeah.
about that area.
Yeah. So it goes from 55 to 45 now?
It does.
And
No,
then
it goes to 30 there.
No, it goes to 45 first, coming
Yeah.
into town.
Yeah.
It goes
So-
55 to 45 and 30.
I guess where it goes to 45, change it where it's 45 all the way to the water tank? Is that what we're saying?
I'm
Yeah,
confused now.
I'm gone. Let's burn.
I hear what you're saying.
I'll come back to
I
you.
thought I knew the road, man. I'm about to go look.
I drive that road 100 times a day, I know what you're saying, but yeah, is
Yeah.
that enough? Is that enough time from the water tank to slow them down to get to that red light? Because that's a downhill
I
right
think the
there.
30 right there should stay.
Oh, yeah, it should stay
Yeah.
at the
It's
water
the
tank.
45 you might could, I don't know if you need to go like, cause it goes 55, 45, then 30.
So
I think the
30
30
about the
might need
water
to
tank.
stay. It's the 45.
Yes, just
if
past the water
anything.
tank.
Yeah,
Just
keep-
leave it
keep
to-
30 right there at the water tank.
Right.
And going, well, back out, but coming in.
Coming in, if you're gonna do anything, you change the 45 to 55, and then you go 55 to 30, if it's possible. That'd be the only change you can make.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I think
Yeah,
coming
I mean,
in-
I don't either,
I think
but-
coming in works, because I think you
Yeah.
don't go from 55 to 30.
Right, well, yeah,
I don't.
let's do it.
Unless you go,
Yeah,
right when you get to the
Yeah.
30, you've got to slow them down.
yeah, it might need
coming
to
in.
leave that one alone, Mr.
Because
Burns.
that red light's not gonna do you any good.
Yeah, coming in.
Yeah. That red light's
Cause
not gonna do you any
it'd probably
good.
get complicated.
With
Chief, do you have any input? Because,
We're not gonna ask
but
them.
no, I remember when we did this before, it was a whole lot because you had to have a certain amount of distance between the signs when the speed limits changed and all that. It was a back and forth process, so
Kinda
if
like
we
today.
undo it, let's do it one time and do it right. You-
Do it correctly.
I'm almost a little bit confused, but I'm just trying to.
I remember the
Go through
merry-go-round
my-
when we were doing this.
I think the only concern is the same that everybody else has, that the intersection with the light coming up would be important, making sure they slow down before they get to it. I know that school traffic gets tricky. We had a pretty bad accident last year, but there was no light. It was a motorcycle and a car. I know the fire department has trucks that come out periodically. That's the only area I'm concerned about is making sure they're slowing down before they get to the light after it's installed. The rest of it, I don't think it matters how you change it. You know, Ridgetop we don't work a lot of accidents at Ridgetop coming out, so they've got a pretty good plane of view when they come out. So just coming down the hills would be my concern, whatever you all see necessary.
Is what we're saying that before you get to Ridgetop coming in, that's 45 now, correct?
45 then 30.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
because
I
we
think
actually
that
had
ought
a
to stay
speed
the
trailer.
Yeah, that one
Yeah,
should
we
stay the
should
same.
leave that
out.
alone.
Yeah, that one should be left
Leave
alone.
coming
we're-
in alone.
Yes, going out.
And
is-
go-
Going,
out.
yeah, going out
Yes.
to change.
Changing.
Okay.
You talking about in the same area?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
Any further questions on that?
So we're just Justin going out, really.
Going
Yeah,
out.
right.
Do we need to do anything with the state, it being a state thing? state
No.
Y'all changed it last time.
No,
About the
we
state.
set speed limits.
Okay.
By the way, they're resurfacing.
We should be okay. I think the thing we had to do is make sure the speed changes were so far apart. I think we had to bring somebody in to make sure the distance between the changes
I'm
was
sure they
right.
got the distance right.
So we're just changing the numbers. We should be okay.
So we're good on that?
Well, of course, we can always, that guy's coming
Everybody
back
in
sometime
agreement
this month.
for that for
that
Tuesday?
We talked to from
Yep.
MTS.
Next,
Item
Peter,
12.
you know, he's gotta come and do the study.
Consider resolution to enter into a cooperative
8th Avenue.
purchasing agreement with Omni Partners. Carrie Whitesell, Director of Parks and Recs.
So over the past few years, I have worked with Cunningham Recreation and Game Time on their playground systems. And with our recent award of the Healthy Built Environments Grant, their playground equipment is in the Omnia Partners Purchasing Cooperative. When I reached out to the cooperative last week, we are already a member of that cooperative and apparently have been since 2009, which is before I was here, but just wanting to make sure that we do the right thing and get council's approval to do business through this purchasing cooperative.
questions?
So we are part of it, so you don't.
We are a member, but I'm not sure if if the council has, I don't know if we back in 2009, I'm sure we purchased something, but I was not here. We are a member. The city of Lewisburg is a member with them, but just wanting to make sure that we have followed the proper procedures and just making sure that we vote this in, kind of like we did with the Buy Board Direct and the other purchasing cooperatives, just wanting to make sure we have the approval through the council to purchase with this cooperative.
You think we need a resolution for that?
Because back then it may have just been we're part of it.
Do you think we need a resolution for that?
It would be the safest thing to do.
Well, let's do it.
You know,
Without objection? It's so you can buy it.
Yes, sir.
kinda like
And what?
The state
Right.
cars. that we
Yes,
can-
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right,
Any objections to that?
thank you.
Next.
Item 13, consider trading in of vehicles, 1996 GMC 2500 and a 1999 Ford F-350, which are out of service, to purchase a newer truck for Public Works. Roll call vote, Brandon Davison, Public Works Director, please.
Anybody got any questions for me on this?
I do. Well,
Go ahead.
okay, I get trading in 2 trucks for a truck, I get that.
Mhm.
And you need additional money, right?
No, ma'am.
No, it's just a flat out swap
Well, no, I'm using the remainder of the money
from the 50.
from the 50.
In the
I've
budget.
spent 22 for
Okay.
another vehicle. So I believe it's 28 left over. So it would be the 28 from that and the 2
The 2
trucks.
cars, okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure we weren't changing the budget.
No,
No.
mm-mm. I don't need no money this time.
Further questions? On the agenda without objection?
Yep.
Is that it?
Item 14, other business.
Yeah, is it, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay, the traffic out, West Hills, in the back of West Hills is, I've been getting complaints out there about, I guess the speeding up through there, because the traffic is coming out in the road. So I talked to, Scott about what we could do about it and try to come up with some solutions and,
Coming back out on Hal Quaker?
come back on
The
Hal
car
Quaker
rider
and Franklin,
line
yeah.
pickup?
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
So I was just trying to see what we could come up with to try to make that right before somebody get hurt. Because the traffic in the back don't, I think it's maybe 30 something through there. I guess it's too fast and people having trouble getting out and getting in, and traffic being right here and having to go around. But Scott,
So we went and took a look at it. It was actually last Friday, and I see what he's talking about. You've got Old Franklin Road, and then you've got Franklin Road, and you're crossing over that intersection. They're coming into the back to pick up students from West Hills. The traffic backs up. It does flow. There's not a problem with them with speeding or wreck. They're doing the speed limit. Most are doing about 10 miles an hour. I think the issue that they're having is when they're coming back out onto Franklin Road, that traffic, there's a lot of congestion, there's a lot of cut-through or pass-through traffic coming down Howell Quaker to Franklin going, and you've got large trucks and everything else. Well, you've got a lot of parents trying to get out on that road. That's the only way out from the backside of the school. So they're pulling out, trying to read it. Sometimes they might be running 30, 35, but they're moving on pretty good. So there's no, I don't see an easy way just to correct that right off. They're doing the speed limit, but it's still pretty quick when you've got 30 or 40 cars all trying to come out in the afternoon at the same time, and then you've got people going up and down Howell Quaker to Franklin or whatever, so. And then Shannon and I talked, and I don't know if that's something the school could address with, well, and I'm not sure if a crossing guard requires the area to be marked as a school zone. I don't know, but to break that and slow it down, it would probably require a study of some sort, I'm guessing. But then, again, you've got people coming off Highway 50, Columbia Highway, that are turning right up. They're going both ways. That's where the issue is the traffic coming from the school, getting back out without getting safely, I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Used to, there's a new principal there, but when I worked there, I don't think they backed up. Of course, you're talking about pulling out.
well, they said they had 100 more kids too.
Oh, they've got
That's
100 more
what I
kids.
was. Yeah, they
Because we
got
brought
100
all the
more.
way up to there's a gate there, and they shut that gate, and that forced the parents out
Right,
that way.
right.
And then, whether or not they're coming off of Ellington.
Yeah, I seen them coming back out.
Is the speed limit on Howell Quaker 45 right there?
It's 30.
It's 30,
Is it
but
30 right there?
but 30 looks pretty quick when you're sitting at the
Yeah.
stop sign.
Oh,
and
yeah, no, I get them having problems pulling
They
out
come
there.
around the curve.
Yep.
That, yeah. they're
And then you've
coming
got
around
some
that curve.
pretty big trucks coming through as well, and
Could we
a
not-
crossing guard might work if that's something that can be done, if the school can do that.
I talked to about the crossing guard, and the conversation was more of, I think the 15 miles per hour had to go down or something.
That's
like
what
if we could do that, that would be one thing, and then maybe the cross guard, because I don't know if cross guard would help somebody doing 30.
I'll be honest, it's dangerous to stand out there
Yeah,
trying to
you know
stop
what I'm
traffic.
saying?
Yeah.
So they was like, so I would just suggest get down to, like, put it in a school, it's a school zone, but put a school zone sign right there maybe. I mean, I
Can
don't,
we do that, or does the county do that? Because
Hey, that would probably be the county that would have to do,
That's what I was gonna say.
is that what it is?
If you wanted to do something from the stop sign back to the schoolhouse, it's county.
It's
Only
not,
thing-
that's not where it's at, it's
It's on
from,
the
it's,
Hal
it's,
Quaker.
it's the other way.
On the Hal Quaker
On Hal
side, we
Quaker,
could do
that's what you
something,
need to
yes.
make 15, that road.
That's
'Cause
what I
up through
was-
there is already 15. So if you just put it, just during the school hours, put that road on our road, I guess which we want to
Right.
say, at 15, then I think that might,
I just wanna let y'all know that was county on that backside.
yeah,
Hal Quaker
but it's
side is
already,
us.
yeah, okay,
Yes.
well, the county's like, they already 15 up through there.
Okay.
It's just when they get on the road, it's 30. Franklin Road, so I think if we could
you know
do,
where he's talking about, where it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
would you have to do a study for
That's a
that?
tricky area because you're crossing two roads
You're
right
crossing
there.
two roads.
Yeah.
That's exactly why it's an
that's the
issue.
Yeah, you're crossing two roads.
Yeah, well, that part too, that's why I'm asking.
You'd almost be more feasible doing it on Hal Quaker and flashing it
But that
there.
first
Yeah,
road,
that's,
yeah, that first road you cross has no traffic.
It does,
has
it's
no
a dead end.
Yeah.
It ends
Yep.
on
Yeah,
both
right,
sides
right.
of there.
it's when they're going back out on the
On the
Hal
Hal
Quaker.
On the,
Right.
yeah.
So can you put speed zone signs on Hal Quaker, school signs?
Can you use that remote, little trailer thing y'all put back without, you put 15 on that and let them flash it for a while, the little remote sign?
Are you talking about the speed trailer? Well, we can put it out there, but the speed limit is 30, so I mean,
Unless you change.
and I don't think they're speeding. I think it's pretty quick coming through there. They might be running 35.
But could
Yeah,
it,
it's just for like an hour though, man, so, but it's,
Just the numbers and
just
space.
wouldn't wanna see nobody getting.
Certain portion of that needs to be designated as a school zone.
That should be a
Yeah.
school
I
zone
think
for a
something
certain.
in
And
front of
then
Hubs
we can
Road would
put
work.
speed limit 15
Flash it
from
only at
7 AM to 9.
Yeah, like they
and
got
from
everywhere else,
2 to,
could it not
Something
be
you see what I'm
programmed
saying?
to
Okay.
15 miles per hour,
Well,
that trailer?
but I don't know if the
It
county
could be,
would have
but
to
the
get
speed limit's
involved to
still 30.
designate, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a,
During
Well, it's
that
not on
time,
they,
I
well, I
guess.
guess
You
we
see
be
what
in
I'm
they
saying? But-
schools, yeah,
yeah.
I guess they have to work
for
with
us
them, I
to
guess.
Get it down, you see what I'm saying?
Well, when
Well,
the
what we need to
state,
do?
when the state relocated, Kyle or Franklin Avenue, that messed things up pretty bad, because you have two places to go across, and it's confusing. Yeah, I think there's a place that we could put a 15 mile an hour. To put a flashing, is that up to the schools?
Well, that's what
We
were
will have to
just
get them
talking about. Is
involved
this a county
somehow or
issue or
another,
a city
I
issue?
think.
Well, I've been talking to somebody up there, I guess they didn't really just know, I just told them I was gonna bring it up today to see what we could do.
Well, can
And
Van
then-
get with them and see if there's,
Talk to
get
Mr.
the
Perry.
communications going?
Right, yeah, well, yeah, that'll work.
Talk to Mr. Perry, he's the new director of schools.
Well, you know, Oak Grove, it has that flashing thing above saying this is a school
Mm-hmm.
zone during this period. And the speed limit is 15. If you go out to Oak Grove, it's,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
do,
it's
but
flashing.
who did that, the county? Because that's a state highway.
I
County did
think
that?
the state
I was just
might.
gonna say, Lonnie had actually pulled up the TCA, and it does say in the TCA that any county or municipality is authorized to establish school safety zones.
So we can do it,
Yeah,
because Hal
according-
Quaker City.
Correct.
But we can change it to 15 miles an hour, and then we can ask the school if they'll put a flasher up.
Yeah,
Is that what
you
you
can
were
do
saying?
Let's make it a
Let's
school,
try it.
let's make it a school zone.
Yeah.
And we'll get the speed limit down, let's see if they'll spend the money to get the.
Between certain hours?
Yeah. Like
Just like Oak
7 to
Grove.
9, and then maybe
Whatever the signs say.
whatever the other ones say.
School
Whatever.
hours.
I don't know what time.
Everybody
in the
good with that?
evening.
Anything else?
But we'll try to get them to spend money on
Okay, that
Yeah.
would be.
I have-
Yeah, we don't want LES charging us
No.
11.5%.
We need the money, Mayor.
Okay, I have something else on other business, and Chief of Police might need to come back up here.
Chief?
It is a grant from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office that is being offered to the police department. It is a $10,000 non-matching grant, and there's a split, like he can use it for equipment or overtime. It's an 80-20 split, so for instance, if you use 80% for equipment, 20% would be overtime, or 20% equipment, 80% overtime, that's the way it would work. It would require a resolution to accept this, but it's a $10,000 grant to the police department with no match.
Chief, you want to speak to it?
Yes, sir. I brought this up probably a few months ago when we had decided, years ago, we were in the governor's highway safety program. We got out for whatever reasons, and we hadn't been involved with the program in years. We've drawn new interest to get back in it. There is some funding in it. There's actually 3 different portions of the grant. This is one. It's the high visibility grant. Again, it will fund the $10,000 toward equipment and overtime. The overtime is specifically designed for traffic infractions and enforcing traffic laws. That we have to keep up with the stats, turn it back into the state. But it also allows us to take some of that money and purchase like radars and other equipment that we could use to enforce traffic violations. So it's one of 3. We're just getting back into this. So in the future, hopefully we can look at the other 2 parts from the governor's highway safety program.
So does that require a resolution for
Yeah.
Tuesday?
Yes, sir, it does.
Without objection then, have that Tuesday? Any objections?
No.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Thank you.
Okay, who else? Anybody? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion.
Shannon Crutcher makes the motion. 2 seconds. Councilman Ronald
Everybody trying to stay up in there.
Ronald Robertson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. We stand adjourned. Thank you all.
I gotta ask you a quick question.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted my copy. I wrote all of it.